The bridge of the Defiant Dawn hummed with quiet energy as Captain Park stared at the screen before him. The image showed a wall of twisted space that looked like broken glass reflecting 1,000 stars. This was the edge of the sector, the place every species in the galaxy feared. "Captain, the signal is still there," said Commander from her station. Her fingers moved across the control panel, checking the readings again. "It's coming from deep inside the Forbidden Zone. I've never seen anything like it." Leaned forward in his chair. For 10,000 years, no ship had entered the sector and returned. The Galactic Council had made it law. The old stories said that an ancient civilization had vanished there, leaving behind something so dangerous that the entire sector had to be sealed forever. Space itself was broken in that region, full of traps that killed anyone who tried to enter. "How deep inside?" asked. "At least 40 light-years past the boundary," replied. "Sir, that's impossible. No one lives in there. No one could survive in there." Dr. Sora Lee, the ship's chief science officer, looked up from her instruments. Her face was pale. "Captain, I'm detecting life signs. Faint, but they're there. Someone is alive in that sector." The bridge fell silent. Lieutenant stopped working on his engineering console and turned to look at the captain. Every crew member knew what this meant. If someone was alive in the Forbidden Zone, they needed help. But the Galactic Council had been clear. Entering the sector was forbidden. Any ship that tried would be considered in violation of galactic law. Stood up and walked to the main. The twisted barrier of space shimmered like oil on water. Beyond it lay darkness and mystery. Beyond it lay someone who might be dying, calling for help. "Open a channel to Galactic Council headquarters," said quietly. The screen changed to show Admiral Nam, a human who served as Earth's liaison to the Council. His expression was serious. "Captain Park, I've been monitoring your position. You're at the boundary of the sector." "Yes, sir. We've detected a distress signal from inside. There are life signs. Someone needs help." His face grew even more serious. "Captain, you know the law. No one enters that sector. The Council has held this position for 10,000 years. The dangers there are beyond our understanding." "With respect, Admiral, humanity doesn't abandon people in need," said firmly. "That's not who we are." Another face appeared on the screen, splitting it in half. It was a being made of living crystal whose species had been exploring space for millions of years. "Captain Park, your species is young. You have been part of the galactic community for only 200 years. You do not understand what you're proposing. The sector has killed thousands of ships. The best minds of hundreds of species have studied it. All agree it cannot be crossed." "Someone crossed it," replied. "Someone is in there right now sending that signal. If they got in, we can too." His crystalline face somehow managed to show disapproval. "This is human arrogance. You believe your courage can overcome physics itself. It cannot. If you enter that sector, you will die. Your entire crew will die. And humanity will learn a painful lesson about respecting the wisdom of elder races." Felt his jaw tighten. He looked around the bridge at his crew, met his eyes and gave a small nod, smiled and turned back to his console, already preparing the ship. Sora's hands were steady on her instruments. They were ready. "Admiral, I appreciate your concern," said, "but I'm taking my ship into the sector. Someone needs help and we're going to provide it." Closed his eyes briefly. "Captain, I cannot approve this action. The Council will not support you. If you do this, you do it alone." "Understood, sir," replied. His image grew brighter with what might have been anger. "This will be remembered, Captain Park. When your ship is destroyed, it will serve as a lesson to other young species about the price of foolishness." The transmission ended. The bridge was quiet again. "Captain," said Lieutenant from the weapons station, "I'm picking up something on the long-range sensors. Multiple ships are watching us from a distance. News vessels from at least 20 different species." "They want to see if the crazy humans actually do it," said with a laugh. "Well, let's give them a show." sat back in his captain's chair. "All hands, this is the captain. In 5 minutes we will enter the sector. No one in galactic history has done this and returned. But someone in there needs help and we will not turn away. Every species in the galaxy will be watching us. Let's show them what humanity is made of. All stations, report ready status." One by one his officers reported. Engineering ready, weapons ready, navigation ready, science ready, medical ready. The ship was prepared. Said to his navigation specialist, "Take us in, nice and steady." The young officer nodded. "Yes, sir, plotting course into the sector now." The defiant dawn began to move forward. On every settled world in the galaxy, millions of beings watched their screens. Human ships had earned a reputation for doing unexpected things, for taking risks that other species considered insane. But this was different. This was entering a place of death itself. The ship approached the shimmering barrier. Space began to twist around them, like they were moving through water instead of vacuum. The hull groaned softly. Warning lights flashed on several consoles. "Gravitational stress increasing," Sara reported. "The spatial distortions are affecting our sensors." "How's the ship holding up?" asked. "She's complaining, but she'll make it," the engineer replied. "Our systems are more flexible than most alien designs. We can adapt." The defiant dawn touched the barrier. For a moment everything seemed to pause. Then they were through. They showed a space that didn't quite look real. Stars seemed to be in the wrong places. Shadows moved where there should be only light. In the distance, something that might have been a planet flickered in and out of existence. "We're inside," said quietly. "Captain, we're the first ship in 10,000 years to enter the sector and still be intact." Across the galaxy, billions of beings watched in awe. The humans had done the impossible. They had crossed into the forbidden zone. And somewhere in the darkness ahead, someone was waiting to be saved. The defiant dawn moved slowly through the twisted space of the sector. Every few minutes, the ship shuddered as waves of strange energy passed through it. On the bridge, warning lights blinked constantly, but the crew worked with calm focus. "Another gravity well ahead," announced, his hands steady on the navigation controls. "It's pulling us to the left, compensating now." Watched them carefully. The space around them didn't follow normal rules. Sometimes stars appeared close when they should be far away. Sometimes the ship's sensors showed empty space where their eyes saw solid matter. It was like sailing through a dream. "Captain, I'm reading wreckage at coordinates 749, said from her weapons console. "Multiple ships, they're old, really old." "Put it on screen," ordered. The image changed to show twisted metal floating in the darkness. Sara studied the readings carefully. "Those ships are from different species. This one is designed probably from before they vanished. That one is maybe 3,000 years old. And that one," she paused, her eyes widening. "That one is from a species I don't recognize. It could be 10,000 years old or more." Whistled softly from engineering. All these ships tried to cross the sector. None of them made it. "Why are we still flying when they failed?" asked quietly. "Because our ship is different," replied. He pulled up a diagram on his screen. "Look, most advanced alien ships use quantum field drives. They need stable spacetime to work. When space gets twisted like this, their engines just stop working. But our fusion drives are simpler. More primitive, the aliens say. But primitive means they work even when physics gets strange." Sara nodded slowly. "He's right. Our backup systems, our manual controls, our redundant power sources. Other species don't build ships like this anymore. They rely on automation and advanced technology. When that fails, they have nothing left." "So our old-fashioned human engineering is actually an advantage?" asked with a smile. "Exactly," said. "Sometimes the simple way is the best way." Felt a surge of pride in his crew and his ship. Keep moving forward. That distress signal is still out there. Hours passed. The ship navigated through impossible space. worked constantly, rerouting power, adjusting systems, keeping everything running. Several times, spatial distortions threatened to tear the hull apart, but the engineer found ways to redistribute the stress. He did things the ship's designers probably never imagined, connecting systems in strange ways that somehow worked. Meanwhile, back at the edge of the sector, dozens of alien vessels had gathered. News ships broadcast constant updates. Military vessels from various species watched and waited. In the Galactic Council chambers, heated debates raged. The humans should be dead by now, stated, examining the telemetry data. According to all models, their ship should have been destroyed within the first hour. Admiral stood before the council, his face calm but his heart racing. Perhaps our models were wrong. Perhaps humanity's different approach to ship design has advantages we didn't consider. Or perhaps they're simply lucky, another suggested. Luck runs out. On the Defiant Dawn, worked at her communication station, trying to decode the mysterious signal. The language was old, older than any in the galactic database. She ran it through every translation program they had, but nothing worked. "Captain, this is frustrating," she said. "The signal repeats every 6 minutes, but I can't understand it. The grammatical structure doesn't match any known language family." Sora looked up from her science station. "Send it to my console. Maybe I can find patterns in the mathematical structure." The two women worked together, sharing data back and forth. Slowly, painstakingly, they began to find meaning in the ancient words. I think this word means danger," said after an hour of work. "And this one might be stay away or keep back." Sora's face went pale. "This isn't a distress call." "What?" "It's a warning. The message isn't asking for help. It's telling us to stay away." Quickly worked to decode more of the message. As the meaning became clear, her hands started to shake. "Captain, you need to hear this." Came to stand behind her station. "What does it say?" "Stay back, do not enter, do not awaken the Guardian. Death waits for those who come. This is not a place of rescue. This is a place of imprisonment. Stay away, stay away, stay away." His voice grew quieter with each word. The bridge fell silent. Everyone stared at the captain. "So there's no one to rescue," said slowly. "We came all this way, risked everything for a warning message." "A warning that's been playing for how long?" asked. Sora checked her instruments. "Based on the signal degradation, I'd estimate 10,000 years, maybe longer." 10,000 years, repeated. "That's when the civilization vanished. That's when this sector became forbidden." He turned to look at the strange space beyond. Something happened here, something so important they left a warning that's been playing for. "Should we turn back?" asked quietly. Considered the question. They had violated galactic law to come here. They had risked everything because they thought someone needed help, but there was no one to help, just an ancient warning about something called the Guardian. "No," said finally. "We came here for answers. We're going to find them. That signal is coming from somewhere. Let's find out what's so important that it needed a 10,000-year warning." Looked at him with concern. "Captain, the message says not to awaken the Guardian. Maybe we should listen." "The message also says this is a place of imprisonment," replied. "Someone or something has been locked away here for thousands of years. Don't you want to know why? Don't you want to know what happened to the—" Grinned from his engineering station. "The captain's right. We're already here. Might as well see what all the fuss is about." "Besides," added, "every species in the galaxy is watching us. If we turn back now with nothing to show for it, we'll look like fools. But if we discover what really happened here, if we solve a 10,000-year mystery, humanity will be remembered forever." He sat back in his captain's chair. "Continue toward the signal source. All stations stay alert. If there is a Guardian out there, I want to know about it before it knows about us." The Defiant Dawn pushed deeper into the forbidden sector. Behind them, the exit grew more distant. Ahead, Something waited in the darkness. Something that had been waiting for a very, very long time. In the council chambers, the debate grew louder. Some demanded that ships be sent to retrieve the humans by force. Others argued that humanity should be left to face the consequences of their actions. Admiral remained silent, watching the telemetry and hoping his species knew what they were doing. The galaxy watched and waited. The humans had crossed the boundary. Now they were heading towards something that ancient beings had feared enough to lock away forever. Whatever they found there would change everything. The structure appeared suddenly on their sensors, massive and ancient beyond measure. It hung in space like a dark star, absorbing light rather than reflecting it. The defiant dawn slowed as it approached, and every crew member stared in wonder at what they had found. "That thing is huge," whispered. "It's the size of a small moon." Sora's instruments worked frantically to analyze the structure. The material is unknown. Not metal, not stone, something else entirely. The age. "Captain, this could be older than the current galactic civilization. This might be from the progenitors." The progenitors. Every child in the galaxy learned about them in school. The first civilization, the ones who came before all others. They had built wonders and then vanished, leaving behind only ruins and mysteries. Most scientists believed they were just legends, but looking at this impossible structure, knew the legends were real. "The signal is coming from inside," reported. "I'm detecting an entrance on the near side. Captain, it's opening." A section of the dark surface split apart like a flower blooming. Soft light spilled out from within. It looked almost welcoming. "That's not creepy at all," muttered. "Get your Marines ready," ordered. "We're going inside, you're with me. Sora, you two, bring your equipment. If there's technology in there, we'll need you." Marine Commander Lee nodded sharply. "My team will be ready in 5 minutes, sir." The landing party assembled in the shuttle bay. 12 Marines in combat armor, 5 officers in exploration suits, and enough scanning equipment to study a planet. They boarded a shuttle and launched toward the opening in the ancient structure. As they flew through the entrance, felt a strange, tingling sensation. The shuttle's instruments flickered briefly, then stabilized. They were inside. The interior was vast. Corridors stretched in impossible directions, lit by a soft glow that seemed to come from the walls themselves. There were no signs of dust or decay. Everything looked as if it had been built yesterday, not thousands of years ago. "This way," said, following the signal on her handheld scanner. "The source is deeper inside." They walked through halls that normal geometry. Sometimes a corridor seemed to be going up, but their instruments said it was level. Sometimes doorways appeared that hadn't been there a moment before. Took readings constantly, her eyes wide with excitement. "This technology is beyond anything I've studied," she said quietly. "The power source alone, I can't even identify what it is. It's not fusion, not antimatter, not zero-point energy. It's something else." After 20 minutes of walking, they reached a central chamber. It was circular, with a high ceiling that disappeared into darkness above. In the center of the room stood a pillar of pure light. Inside that light, something moved. "Everyone stay back," ordered, his Marines forming a protective circle around the officers. Sora stepped forward carefully, her scanner extended. "I'm reading energy patterns, massive amounts of energy, and, Captain, I'm reading something that might be a life sign, but it's not like any life I've ever seen." The light pulsed once, twice. Then a voice filled the chamber. It spoke in a language none of them knew, but somehow understood it. The words formed directly in his mind. "Finally, after so long, finally someone comes." The Marines raised their weapons, stepped forward protectively, but raised his hand for calm. "Lower your weapons. I don't think it means us harm." "You understand correctly, young one," the voice said. "I am no threat. I am the guardian, though that title has lost its meaning over the ages. I am the last of the progenitors. I am the prisoner. I am the warning." "You're alive?" asked in amazement. "After 10,000 years." "I do not live as you understand it. I am energy and thought bound to this place. When my people fell, I remained. When they asked me to guard their final secret, I agreed. When they told me to warn away others, I obeyed. I have been here alone for longer than your species has existed." Sora moved closer, her scanner forgotten. What happened to the progenitors? Why did they vanish? The light pulsed with what might have been sadness. "We did not vanish. We chose to end. Our civilization had reached its peak. We had conquered death, mastered energy, shaped worlds. But in doing so, we lost something vital. We lost the desire to grow, to change, to explore. We became stagnant, perfect and lifeless like beautiful statues." "I don't understand," said. "You had everything, why end it?" "Because having everything means having nothing to strive for. When there are no challenges, no struggles, no risks, existence becomes meaningless. We debated for 1,000 years. Finally, we agreed. Better to end as we were than to continue forever as empty shells. But we left behind our knowledge, locked in this place. We left behind me to guard it until a species worthy of it appeared. Stepped forward, and we're worthy." The Guardian's light flickered, examining them all. "I have studied every species that entered this sector. Hundreds of ships have come over all failed because they were too specialized, too dependent on perfection. Their ships needed perfect conditions. Their minds needed perfect understanding. When faced with chaos, they broke." "But humans are different?" asked. "Humans are gloriously imperfect," the Guardian replied, and there was warmth in its voice. "Your ships are built with redundancy because you know things will fail. Your minds accept chaos because your world was chaos. You help strangers even when it's dangerous because you know what it means to need help. Most importantly, you question authority. You crossed into forbidden space not because you were certain you would succeed, but because you couldn't live with yourselves if you didn't try." The light grew brighter. "Your species is young and foolish and brave. That is exactly what the galaxy needs. The current races have become like my people. They follow rules, maintain order, avoid risk. They are dying slowly, becoming perfect and empty. But you are still wild, still curious, still willing to be unreasonable." "The Galactic Council locked you away, didn't they?" realized suddenly. "The progenitors gave them this knowledge and they imprisoned it here." "Not imprisoned," the Guardian corrected. "Protected. They feared what would happen if everyone had access to progenitor technology. Power without wisdom leads to disaster. So they created the Forbidden Sector, made the space difficult to cross, and left me here with my warning. Only a species that could overcome the obstacles, who would risk everything to answer a call for help, would be permitted to reach me." Felt the weight of the moment. "You've been waiting for us, for humanity." "I have been waiting for someone like you. Someone unreasonable enough to enter, compassionate enough to answer a call for help, and humble enough to use knowledge wisely. I cannot leave this place. That was the agreement, but I can offer you something." The pillar of light shifted and images appeared around them. Technologies beyond imagination. Ships that could cross the galaxy in moments. Medicine that could cure any disease. Energy sources that would never run dry. Weapons powerful enough to crack planets. "I offer you the knowledge of the progenitors," the Guardian said, "but I offer it with a warning. This knowledge nearly destroyed my people. It could destroy yours as well. The question is, what will you do with it?" The landing party stood in silence, surrounded by visions of impossible wonders. Outside, the defiant dawn waited. Beyond that, the entire galaxy watched and wondered what the humans had found. Looked at his crew. Eyes shone with excitement at the technology. Sora's face showed wonder and caution mixed together. Seemed thoughtful, already considering the diplomatic implications. Practically vibrated with eagerness to study everything. And his Marines stood ready, trusting their captain to make the right choice. "If we take this knowledge," said slowly, "can we share it with other species?" "That choice is yours," the Guardian replied. Because if we keep it for ourselves, we'd be no better than those who locked you away. The Guardian's light pulsed with what might have been approval. Now you begin to understand. Stood in the ancient chamber, surrounded by visions of impossible technology, and made a decision that would echo across the galaxy. He turned to the young specialist whose eyes still shone with wonder at the progenitor knowledge surrounding them. "Can you record all of this?" he asked. "Everything the Guardian is showing us?" Nodded eagerly. "Yes, Captain, my equipment can capture it all. But sir, this is thousands of years of advanced science. It will take generations to understand even a fraction of it." "That's fine," replied. "We're not in a hurry." He turned back to the pillar of light. "Guardian, I accept your offer, but only on one condition. This knowledge must be shared freely with all species who want it. No secrets, no advantages, no special treatment for humanity." The Guardian's light pulsed with what felt like satisfaction. "A wise choice, but be warned, Captain Park. Not everyone will be happy with this decision. The Galactic Council has maintained power partly by controlling access to ancient technology. By making this knowledge free, you challenge their authority." "Good," said simply. "Authority should be challenged sometimes. That's how civilizations grow." While began recording the technological displays, gathered his team for a private discussion. They moved to a corner of the vast chamber, away from the Guardian's light. "We need to think about what happens next," said quietly. "The moment we leave this place, we'll face serious consequences. The Council is not going to be happy." Grinned. "When has humanity ever worried about making the Council happy?" "This is different," insisted. "We're talking about threatening the galactic power structure. They could expel Earth from the Council. They could impose sanctions. They could even threaten military action." "Let them try," said sharply. "We're doing the right thing. How can they argue against sharing knowledge?" "Because it gives them less control," Sora explained. "Think about it. Right now, advanced technology comes from a few powerful species. Everyone else has to buy it, trade for it, or beg for it. That creates dependency. That creates power. If everyone has access to the same knowledge base, that power structure collapses." Spoke up, his voice calm but serious. "My Marines and I will follow your orders, Captain, but you should know that we're ready for whatever comes. If the Council wants a fight, they'll get one." Looked at each of them in turn. His crew, his friends, his responsibility. "I don't want a fight. I want change. The Guardian is right. The galaxy has become stagnant. Everyone follows rules, maintains order, and nothing really moves forward. Maybe humanity's role is to shake things up." "That's a big responsibility," said softly. "Someone has to take it," replied. Back on the Defiant Dawn, the remaining crew monitored the situation nervously. At the edge of the sector, the number of watching ships had tripled. Military vessels from a dozen species now surrounded the Forbidden Zone. Some came to observe. Others came ready for conflict. In the Galactic Council chambers, an emergency session had been called. Admiral stood before the assembled, trying to maintain calm while his own heart raced with worry. "The human ship has been inside the structure for 3 hours, announced to the chamber. "We must assume they have made contact with whatever is inside. We must assume the worst." "The worst being what exactly?" Admiral asked. "That they found something, that they learned something. Since when is knowledge a crime?" "Knowledge is not the crime," another replied. "Disturbing an ancient containment facility is the crime. Violating a 10,000-year prohibition is the crime. Arrogantly assuming they know better than the combined wisdom of countless species is the crime." "Or maybe," said carefully, "humanity is doing what needed to be done, what no one else had the courage to do." The chamber erupted in angry voices. Some shouted their support for immediate intervention. Others demanded patience. A few remained silent, watching and calculating. Inside the ancient structure, finished her recordings. She had captured everything the Guardian had shared, thousands of terabytes of information. Ship designs, medical knowledge, energy systems, mathematical theories, philosophical texts, everything the progenitors had learned in their millions of years of existence. "It's done," she reported to. "I have it all." The Guardian's light flickered. "Then our time together nears its end. Captain Park, you have proven your species worthy, but worthiness means nothing without follow-through. Will you truly share this knowledge? When powerful people offer you wealth and position to keep it secret, will you refuse? When your own government tells you to classify it for Earth's security, will you disobey?" Met the Guardian's light directly. "I will share it, I give you my word." "Words are easy, actions are what matter." "Then watch my actions." The Guardian pulsed once more, and suddenly the entire chamber changed. The walls became transparent, showing space beyond, but not just the space around them. Somehow the Guardian showed them images from across the galaxy. The council chambers, the news vessels at the sector's edge, Earth itself, where billions of humans watched and waited. "I have kept this facility hidden for 10,000 years, the Guardian said. "But no more. I will now broadcast everything openly. The entire galaxy will hear what you promise, Captain Park. They will hold you accountable." Before could respond, his voice and image appeared on every screen across known space. Billions of beings, hundreds of species, all watching him simultaneously. "People of the galaxy," began, his voice steady despite his racing heart. "My name is Captain Park of the human vessel Defiant Dawn. We entered the sector not from arrogance but from compassion. We answered what we thought was a distress call. What we found instead was truth." He gestured to the Guardian's light behind him. "This is the Guardian, the last of the progenitors. For 10,000 years it has waited here, protecting knowledge that could change our entire civilization. The Galactic Council's ancestors locked this knowledge away, fearing what might happen if everyone had access to it. They created the Forbidden Sector to control who could reach it." Across the galaxy, shock rippled through populations. On Earth, people gathered in streets and homes, watching their captain reveal cosmic secrets. "But knowledge should not be controlled," continued. "Knowledge should be free. The Guardian has shared progenitor technology with us, not for humanity alone, but for everyone. Starting today, we will make this information available to any species that wants it. No restrictions, no conditions, no advantages for Earth." In the council chambers, crystalline form blazed with anger. "This is insanity. He cannot make such a decision." "He just did," Admiral said quietly, and there was pride in his voice. Kept speaking, his words reaching every corner of civilized space. "I know this will upset many powerful people. I know the council will object. I know some will say we're too young, too foolish, too human to make this choice. But that's exactly why we can make it. We haven't forgotten what it's like to struggle. We haven't forgotten what it means to need help." The Guardian's light grew brighter, and its ancient voice joins broadcast. "I have waited countless ages for beings brave enough to enter this place and compassionate enough to share what they found. Captain Park speaks truth. Let this knowledge flow freely. Let all species learn, grow, and evolve together. The age of controlled information ends today." "The Guardian will deactivate the sector's defenses," announced. "This place will no longer be forbidden. Anyone who wishes to come here to learn, to study, to understand is welcome. This is not Earth's territory. This is everyone's heritage." He paused, looking directly into the camera. "To the Galactic Council, humanity does not seek conflict. We seek progress. If sharing knowledge threatens your power, perhaps you need to reconsider what kind of power you should have. To the young species watching, you are not lesser because you are younger. Bring your questions, your curiosity, your courage. To every being in the galaxy, the future is not written by those who control information, but by those who share it freely." The broadcast ended. Silence filled the ancient chamber as lowered his hand. "Well," said finally, "that's going to cause some excitement." "That's one word for it," replied, though she was smiling. The Guardian spoke softly, its light calm and peaceful. "You have done well, Captain Park. Whatever happens now, know that you have changed the galaxy's course. The path ahead will not be easy." "The right path rarely is," replied. The landing party prepared to return to their ship. They had entered the forbidden sector to save lives. Instead, they had reshaped civilization itself. The return journey through the sector felt different somehow. The twisted space that had seemed so threatening before now felt almost welcoming. True to its word, the Guardian had deactivated many of the defensive systems. The path was still challenging, but no longer deadly. "Captain, I'm picking up multiple ships entering the sector," reported from her weapons station. "They're following the course we charted on the way in." Smiled slightly. "Already how many?" 12 so far and more coming, different species, some I don't even recognize." She paused, studying her screen. "Sir, one of them is broadcasting a message. They're thanking us for opening the way." On the bridge of the Defiant Dawn, the crew shared quiet looks of satisfaction. They had done it. They had achieved something incredible. But as they approached the sector's edge, the reality of their situation became clear. "Captain, I'm counting 47 military vessels at the boundary," said nervously. "Most of them have weapons powered up. They're forming a blockade." "Of course they are," said. "The Council isn't going to let us just fly away after what we did." Stood from his command chair and straightened his uniform. "Open a channel, let's talk to them." The change to Show, whose crystalline form practically vibrated with barely contained fury. "Captain Park, you will surrender your ship immediately. You have violated galactic law, stolen ancient technology, and incited rebellion against the Council's authority. Your actions cannot be forgiven." "With respect, we didn't steal anything," replied calmly. "The Guardian freely shared its knowledge, and as for inciting rebellion, all we did was offer information to anyone who wants it. If that threatens the Council, perhaps the problem isn't with us." Admiral's face appeared on a split screen. He looked tired but determined. "Captain, the Council has voted. They want to seize your ship, confiscate all data you collected, and place Earth under strict sanctions. Several species are calling for your arrest." "And what do you want, Admiral?" asked. Allowed himself a small smile. "I want you to keep flying, Captain. I want you to show the galaxy what humanity is made of." Admiral's voice was sharp. "You speak for Earth in this council. You are ordered to command this vessel to surrender." "No," said simply. The word hung in the air. On every world, billions of beings watched this confrontation unfold. "What did you say?" asked dangerously. "I said no," repeated, his voice stronger now. "I have spent 20 years on the Galactic Council, watching as we became more rigid, more fearful, more controlled. Captain Park just offered the entire galaxy a gift, and your response is to threaten him with military force. That tells me everything I need to know about this council's priorities." Another screen opened, showing a being didn't recognize. Its form was fluid, constantly shifting colors. "This is Ambassador from the Union. Our species has only been spacefaring for 50 years. We have always looked to the elder races for guidance. But today, we see that guidance can become control. The stand with Earth. We stand with humanity." More screens appeared. Younger species, smaller civilizations, voices that rarely spoke in galactic affairs. One by one, they declared their support for humanity's action. "This is chaos," shouted. "You are destroying thousands of years of carefully maintained order." "Maybe that order needed to be destroyed," said a new voice. The screen showed another, one of the quiet ones who rarely spoke. "I am Bora from the Republic. We have been part of this council for 3,000 years. In that time, I have watched as we became more interested in maintaining power than in pursuing truth. The humans have reminded us what it means to take risks, to help others, to question authority. Perhaps we needed that reminder." The blockade began to shift. Several ships moved aside, creating gaps in the formation. Not all of them, but enough. On Earth, a young girl named Jenna Park watched the screens with tears in her eyes. Her father, the captain everyone was talking about, had become a hero. In schools and homes across the planet, humans celebrated, not because they had won some battle, but because they had stayed true to their values even when it was difficult. Back in the sector, more ships arrived every hour. Scientists, explorers, diplomats, all eager to visit the Guardian and learn from the progenitors. The Forbidden Zone was becoming a gathering place for those who valued knowledge over control. Looked at his crew. Opinions. Do we try to run the blockade, or do we surrender and fight this politically? I vote we go home, said. We did what we came to do. Let them stop us if they dare. The galaxy is watching, Sora added. If they attack us now, after we offered to share everything freely, it will show everyone what they really care about. Nodded slowly. Public opinion has shifted. The council knows it. They're looking for a way to back down without losing face. Then let's give them one, decided. He turned back to the screen. We're coming through that blockade. We're going home to Earth. You can try to stop us, or you can let us pass. Either way, the entire galaxy will know what you choose. The defiant dawn began moving forward. The gap in the blockade grew wider as more ships moved aside. Some remained in place, weapons still powered, but they didn't fire. They couldn't. Not with billions watching, not with half the galaxy now questioning the Council's authority. As the human ship passed through the formation, something unexpected happened. One of the military vessels, a cruiser from a species that had been spacefaring for 10,000 years, broadcast a message. Defiant Dawn, this is Captain of the Eternal Vigilance. My orders are to stop you, but my conscience tells me you've done nothing wrong. On behalf of my crew, I salute you. Safe journey, humans. More ships joined in. One by one, captains whose species had ruled the stars acknowledged the young human vessel. It wasn't a surrender, it was respect. On the bridge, several crew members wiped tears from their eyes. Even the tough Marine commander looked emotional. Captain said softly, we're clear of the blockade, setting course for Earth. Take us home, replied. But before they could enter faster-than-light travel, one final communication came through. It was the Guardian, its ancient voice filled with something that might have been joy. Captain Park, I have watched your species for only a short time, but I have learned much. You are young, foolish, and wonderfully brave. Your technology is primitive, but your hearts are not. Your civilization is small, but your courage is vast. Most importantly, you remember what my people forgot. You remember that perfection is not the goal. Growth is the goal. Struggle is the goal. Compassion is the goal. The Guardian paused, its message reaching every corner of known space. I have been alone for 10,000 years, waiting for someone worthy of my people's legacy. You have shown me that worthiness is not about being advanced or powerful or ancient. It is about being willing to help others, even at great cost to yourself. It is about questioning rules that no longer serve justice. It is about sharing what you have, not hoarding it. Thank you, Guardian said, for trusting us, for believing in us. No, Captain, thank you, for reminding the galaxy what it means to be alive. To truly live is to risk. To truly grow is to challenge. To truly connect is to give freely. Your species understands this in ways that elder races have forgotten. The galaxy needed this lesson. I needed this lesson. The Guardian's voice grew softer. Go now. Spread this knowledge. Teach others. And never, ever stop being unreasonable enough to answer distress calls, even when the entire galaxy tells you not to. The transmission ended. The defiant Dawn jumped to faster-than-light speed, heading home. In the weeks that followed, the galaxy transformed. The sector, renamed the Sector of Enlightenment, became a hub of learning and cooperation. Young species that had been ignored for centuries found their voices. The Galactic Council restructured, adding representatives from smaller civilizations, eventually resigned while Admiral was elected to the Council's leadership. Earth received formal recognition as a major galactic power, not because of military might or economic strength, but because of moral leadership. Captain Park was offered countless honors, but he turned most of them down. He had one more request for Earth's government. "I want to go back out there," he told them. "The galaxy is changing, and there are probably more people who need help. Let me and my crew answer those calls." They agreed. The Defiant Dawn became Earth's flagship for exploration and humanitarian missions, always ready to go where others feared to travel. Years later, a young cadet named joined the crew. On his first day, he asked Captain what made humanity special among all the species in the galaxy. Thought for a moment, then smiled. "We're not special, we're just willing to be unreasonable. We help people even when it's dangerous. We question rules even when it's uncomfortable. We share what we have even when we could keep it for ourselves. Any species could do this. We just chose to." "Is that enough?" the young cadet asked. "Just choosing to be better?" "It's everything," replied. The galaxy needed someone to take the first step, to show that courage matters more than caution, that compassion matters more than control, that growth matters more than stability. We took that step. Now others are following. That's how change happens, one unreasonable choice at a time. The Defiant Dawn sailed on through the stars, a human ship crewed by dreamers and heroes, ready to face whatever challenges the galaxy offered. Behind them, civilizations evolved. Ahead of them, new mysteries waited. And throughout it all, in the sector of enlightenment, the Guardian watched and waited. No longer alone, no longer forgotten. Finally, after 10,000 years of isolation, it had found a species that understood what the progenitors had lost, that truly living meant truly risking, and that the best way to honor the past was to build a better future. The galaxy had watched in awe as a human warship entered the forbidden sector. Now it watched in wonder as humanity showed them all what courage really meant.